out what's next. So, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. What a room to be in. I'm so inspired by those that are here. It actually does give me hope, but thank you for keeping it real, because that's why we've got the work ahead. That's why we've had this work for a long time, and what inspires me actually is when I look around the room, so many people that have been doing it for so long. So I'm going to talk about a little piece of what I do, and everything I am able to do is because I was invited in, and so it's an incredible privilege for me to be here today, to be on the Manukau, to be able to work with mana whenua, to be able to work in this beautiful space. I acknowledge the harbour and the people, the kaitiaki, those that live and breathe and have their bones buried all around to keep it safe, and we have to honour those people and all that live in it. I am going to put a few maps up. So this one acknowledges people. And work out how to use this, and it will be that way probably. No, it's not. It's that way. No, it's not. How do these things work? Oh. So I'm very fortunate to be able to work in several places around the harbour. At the moment we're working on the Onehunga Wharf actually. I get to work in the green part. There's not much of that, so we have to make it green. For the Puhanui, we're able to contribute to the landscape there. And when you see this initial cover and all of the slides, none of them I've prepared myself in terms of this technical work. I will acknowledge those practitioners that can bring our spaces to life, and in this case these following maps are from Rosilio. Did you tell me what you actually pushed when you did that, or did you just do it for me? You're an enabler. Yeah, it does. So before you can dream big, you kind of got to know what's going on, right? So one of the first questions we ask when we go anywhere is, what's there right now? And go and have a look. And like, okay, yeah, where's the rest of it? And so, as I said, I'll just quickly touch on this project, because this is a project that's been worked on by so many for a long time. And have contributed in many, many different layers and ways, and we were just privileged to come in and look at the layer of ecology. So what's the potential? And it's a big difference between what is now and our potential. And so we're looking at all those layers and thinking, wow, where are we going to get that back from? So our job really is to look at where we can find it, what it should be, how it can be, where it can be, and getting the ingredients list right. So I'm in the business of shopping. I am the one that has the privilege of putting together the recipes, the ingredients, what can be, where are they now, and who can help us bring them back, because I don't go and get them all. I go and gather the people that know where they are and how they can grow, and how we can find these things and put the lists back together so we have a starting point of building back the potential. But this is a project that I really want to dive into a little bit and talk about the process of this, because this one is very much like the last one, also dear to my heart. But this one here we were allowed to play in a lot deeper way and for a lot longer. So this is the Ngāhere project in Māngere, and the enabler in this case was Jenny Christensen and Kāinga Ora. They knew they were taking out houses, they were putting back houses, and they were all running out of space. And where could they help, and who could they help, and what business were they in? And they're in the business of community and doing well and doing better. And so we got called in to say, how can we help? What could we contribute? What is the ingredients list we need here? So in order for this project to be successful, in its inception was to start with the right people, which of course was mana whenua, the kaitiaki, the community, and we were there just as The shop is the technical help, what is the ingredients that you need. And we were privileged to be able to be part of that right from the beginning, instead of just being called in at different times in the layers for the point in the project. This project to me is very different because it called the people together all together at the beginning. This project works across time and space. Sometimes we walk and we work forward. We work in a way of what's next. So we know what's now, we know what we need, we know what we need, who we need to have, and then we drip in the people along the way in those measures. But it was actually, hold on, we need to go back. And we need to know, where are we standing? Whose ground are you standing on? What happened here? And don't lose sight of that. It wasn't a step one nice to have. It's a continuum, and this work that we're doing is just a moment in time in this space, across the space and across this time, not a 4-year contract period. So then just really understanding at all times, where am I standing? Because a career once said, if you've got sore legs, you better work out where you've been walking. And I'm happy to say I haven't had sore legs during this project so far, so I think hopefully I'll always remember and know who to go to know where I am. Now, that's not to say that we started a project and suddenly we know the history of all things as a member of the team. We're just saying that we have a respect for those that do, make sure that we're guided by those that do, and always walk alongside those that know, and not... Yeah, I'll continue on. So just understanding again where we are in this landscape and working through the process of, just really looking at that reriki uta, reriki tai. How do we fly across from the maunga to the sea? Working across those spaces and with the right people. And so we've got a kaupapa, we're going to restore ngahere. Sounds good, and I know in the description we were going to talk about sediment, and actually that's one of the main tools. Put the blanket back, stabilise the ground, acknowledge the effects, as you said, work out the truth, where are we at, but also what are we going to do? And we're going to say, the kaupapas, we're going to restore ngahere, and the guide that we're going to create is about ngahere, and we're going to talk ngahere all the time and correct people when they say ngahere, we're going to put back on the bush, but it's an urban space. And so there's a lot of unpacking just around this one statement. Ngahere isn't just the bush, and there's no urban in front. And I really have Kōwhai Olsen to thank for that. Why it's not, if you look at this definition, if you understand those words, if you get the connection in that it's about all of these living things, we are ngahere the same as we are taiao. We're not in it or next to it or bringing something else back. We're regrowing ourselves in the connection to it. I'm not going to read it, you can read it yourselves. But so when you set down the kaupapa, you need to define the kaupapa. It was definitely part of this process. There's no urban ngahere there, whatever you're going to call it. But there is some ingredients, and there is a landscape, and there is a place, and we needed to remember whose it was and where it was and what it was for and how we got to that. And so we could get ourselves back out the other way. And it is a process that is ongoing, as you all know, unless you can all name an amazing street that represents all of the definition before. It's a journey, and we're on it, and as many people that can be on it will make it possible. So back again, looking at landscape. What have we got? What did we do? Who did that? What did they do that for? We're not going to do that, are we? And so we got a lot of what not to do, which is all very well. We had a beautiful team, as I said, from the beginning, and it's really important when you put a team together. They're all unique people with their own unique skills and abilities and places of belonging, including, of course, as we said, mana whenua, iwi, kaitiaki, putting together the enablers Jenny, as I said, put more people in a room that usually have meetings separately at different times. Didn't realise they worked in the same department. And I kept saying to her, wow, I haven't had in the last 20 years this many people in the same room from the same agencies. And she's like, what do you mean? I just rang them up and said we're working on this project. It's like, well, it's actually different, whether the enabler knew it or not. So that was a huge change in this. It sounds normal, right? You talk to mana whenua. You're actually with mana whenua. Mana whenua drove this, not at. So the team, and we met constantly. The next few slides are going to look like, lots of pretty pictures about children. We've talked a lot about children today and bring your children. If I'm handing in my homework, Aria's in the front seat. She actually prepared a speech herself. She's wondering if her mum's going to get over enough time to actually say the speech she prepared earlier. Maybe. So the next few slides are about while you're working out the kaupapa and you're setting down the definition, while you're working on the ingredients and where to find them, while you're doing all your planning and you're putting together again, and me family services in terms of pulling together the people in the space to talk about what can possibly be. And Kara, all of you, you all came, and not one person in any of those rooms wasn't busy. Everyone was busy, but they came. Whether it was their job or not, they were still busy, and they came and they contributed again and again. We keep doing that while planting, while weeding, while getting the ingredients together, while doing these multiple things. So process is important and planning is important, but just don't stop working. That's really what those 3 slides mean to me. We started there's a couple of projects that came out of this as well. Of course, you always have your micro projects, and one of them was tiny forests in schools, where we could go into a school, help them do a little mini plan. It was all in one shot. They could put it on the wall. They contributed to what they needed between edible landscapes, composting, all of those things, because parakore is all part of the landscape, and native plants, of course. So the enabler, again, organised some plants so you could join the program, and Me Family Services went out and worked with the schools, and we joined all these things together. But no, Iwi School said, well, we've actually got a lot going on in the school, but the park next door where they all walk home's got nothing. Can we do something next door, please? And so then we started enabling the corridors out from the schools, and they went up and down in their frequency and ability and what could be established and not, and the ebbs and flows of all projects, and the challenge was how to keep them consistent on the rainy days, the hard days, and the school days when it was just too busy. But we got there, and some of the shockers for me is when, and I keep forgetting this, when you ask children which kind of fruit tree they want, and they all name strawberries, and you have to explain why strawberries don't actually grow on trees, and they look at you not horrified about the tree part, but that you might be potentially saying no to strawberries, and trees are just not important at this moment. And then we got around to maybe mandarins, and with the mandarins, it turned out that all the things that they wanted to have were things they could hold in their hands. So they actually named a series of trees and a series of flowers and fruit, and they named vegetables, but all of them turned out to be as big as they could hold. And so kind of blow their mind about size. Again, at all times, grounding ourselves back in process. Rere ki uta, rere ki tai. Know where you are, know what you're doing, knowing that the volcanic landscapes are not the same as the awa. And from the awa to the moana, that we need different ingredients at each time and place and space, and how old are they, and just take a deep breath and go again. But just don't lose track when you're innovating and getting a bright idea, and then somebody else comes in with something else, and it's like, don't cherry pick just the best of the best, but just remember where you are and check your landscape and your ingredients and where they're going to come from, and know that they change, and know that what we're heading for is not just access past the mown strip, because I'm pretty sure we had no grass in our ngāhere when we walked through our forest, And that everything comes from the space and time, from the need for leaf litter and the ferns and the rewa seedling. And so is this when we talk intergenerational around what our mokopuna may need beyond the 4-year contract for maintenance. Are we talking about the intergenerational ability for not just for it to sow its own seed in 5, 10, 20 years' time, depending if you're a karaka or a karamuramu? Are you talking about waiting for the generation that the seed of the epiphyte that grows in the rewa can be? Like how long is your time frame on your project? And it's from lawn to epiphyte. The forest chocolate. So who's doing that work? I can make a list, but who's going to grow it and where are we going to get it and when are we going to stop treating our nurseries like dairies? We can't just go and pick it up on Tuesday because we've got a planting day next week. Someone got some budget at the end of May that's got to be spent by June. Can we give these people some respect, because actually our nursery managers are as rare as hen's teeth. If you've got 3 nurseries in the south, that's how many nursery managers you might have. So, yeah, we can find that on that really blank map at the beginning where we might find the remnant of the wetland that the iwi just asked that we restore. If we actually can find it, if not there, not through eco-sourcing, but rākau whakapapa, through rākau whenua, those seeds that whakapapa to that place in whenua, as we grow out and trying to restore back what's possible, practical and able to be done in the time frame given, who's going to grow it? And we need to continue on. So part of our work for Uru Whakaaro is also growing the nursery network across the region, kaitiaki and community. We're not anti-commercial. We all know no one's making any money. But the point is we need to network those together as well. And so we facilitate a program called Tiaka Kotuia, which is the network of the 48 nurseries across the whole Auckland region, working on how to restore the whenua. We need tools and resources, and you can get this online. The only thing about this, and I would say that a lot of people went, oh, that's cool, can we use it where we are? And it's not in Māngere. You need to read chapter 1, which is remember where you are, where you're standing, and whose whenua it is anyway. Yes, it's got some really nice ingredients in here, and the process you can repeat, but you can't change whose whenua it is. So get more resources and tools. Couple more. I really like John's slide at the beginning where he had those really tidy circles in this timeline and it went and then the next year happened. Sometimes restoration, community and regeneration is messy, involves a lot of people and always allows space for more. And then this is just a quick recap on process. So do that thing that Cassie said when I let you all think about it for a moment. And you just step through those, and then when you forget, go back to the recipe book when you can't remember how you cooked it last time. But just working through those. So I just wanted to finish on Pingao. And one of the coolest, most amazing things I've done lately, it was such incredible privilege. I'm a shopper, I'm not a weaver. Is someone that practices in the realm of, or dabbles in the realm of ethnobotany, when I know what you can eat and dye and weave with. I'm not actually one. So they took me shopping, and it turns out that in Māngere there is no pingao if you want to restore the tukutuku panels at the marae. So on this particular journey I went with the weavers from Orake and from Makono marae, and we went to Pautoa for a 2-day wānanga on pingao, what it looks like. And as much as it was beautiful, incredible, and such a privilege, it made me cry. Why haven't you got the resources you need? And then they said, oh, should we go find Kia next? And does anyone know where any toi is? So, yeah, there's hope, but you've got to keep it real. Kia ora.